Hey, Xcapaders! Welcome to the Xcapade to Xpansion podcast, where we hope to help challenge the mind, heal the body, and elevate the spirit on your journey of self-discovery. Are you ready to expand?
Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to Xcapade to Xpansion's very first episode.
Ooh, all right.
I have my girls here with me. I'm Tisa.
I'm Jessica Devine.
I'm Vaughn.
And I'm Angela.
And today we're talking about owning your shit.
Oh, you heard
Capital
that.
S.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't want to be blocked on social media, so we was being nice by saying ish.
But we can say it here, right?
Right, yeah,
Okay,
we can say
all
here.
right.
Oh, well.
It's uncensored here.
Yeah, it's
We keep it real. We keep it real. Let's start out with, what does owning your own shit mean to y'all?
That is good. Well, when I think of the word or when I hear of owning your own shit, we're talking literally about holding yourself accountable, being aware and understanding, not necessarily that, you know, you're perfect and you have everything figured out. It's just that I got some shit with me. Like, I get it, you know, and not necessarily the pressures of having to get it right all the time. So when I hear of, you know what, it's not about that's just the way I am. I know we're going to get to that one, right? I know we're going to talk about that. It's about how am the way that I'm behaving, one, affecting me, and two, affecting those around me.
Yeah. The thing that I think about, what we were talking about last week, and we were talking about even the different types of accountability. And we were talking about the word standard. And we were talking about how in alignment, when we're talking about ownership and standards, I'm thinking also about your posture as well, right? Because when you're owning something, it's different. I think about business. All of us are business women. And so I'm thinking about, it's one thing to have something, but it's another thing to what? To own it. And so when we're talking about owning something, I'm thinking about posture. What is your posture when you say, I own something, right? And how are you approaching ownership? Because even ownership, what we were talking about last week, and we've been talking about this in our episodes, is that it's a process to own something.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
When I think about owning your own shit, I think about shifting from a perspective of victimhood to realizing that you're the creator of your reality. So if you're not liking how something is showing up in your experience, what steps do you need to take to actually shift that?
Yeah.
So accountability is the big word here. And realizing that you're more powerful than you even realize. A lot of times it's so easy to sit in victimhood of this person did this to me, my life is this way because of that and this. And truthfully, when you really take a good look and observation about yourself and become fully aware of who you are, you realize that everything is really you.
Yeah.
You are your biggest problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are your biggest champion too.
Yeah.
But it's going to be where are you focusing your attention? So that's what I think. We're going to jump more into it.
Right.
The analogy you just gave, I love when the posture of ownership.
Yeah.
And you use the analogy of a house, because it's making me think about the conversation I'm having with my son about taking care of somebody else's stuff when you're inside their house.
Yeah.
When you think about the posture and owning your stuff, right? How you take care of what it is you own, and then being mindful. We're all mindful of who we let inside our house, right? Inside the things that we own. Are they taking care of it?
Yeah.
How are they treating it?
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's going to take care of yours like you do.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. I love that.
Exactly.
So what about you? What do you think about?
I would say definitely accountability, and like you just said, I always think of being in the driver's seat of your life, being in the driver's seat of your experience, right? Yes. However you want to experience life, however you want to show up, you are responsible for that. Accountability.
Yeah.
Love it. I think when we're talking about owning your own ish or owning your ish, I think I had to throw in there your own as an extra word to put emphasis on you have the power.
Yeah.
It is, we can look to others or we can place blame on others, but that doesn't get us to where we really need to be. Like you said, no longer become or be the victim in this. Take back your power. Yes. And when you say, you know what, I realize that I have these issues, I have these problems, and it's not really because of anybody else. Like, at what point do we get in our lives to say, no longer blame it on our environment, no longer blame it on, our past history, or he or my mom did or my dad did? When do we take back our power and say, you know what? I am going to change this because I realize it is affecting me and it is affecting those who I love.
Do you guys remember that viral clip that Will Smith went viral for years ago? He was sitting outside and he was talking just about that. And he was talking about, I probably still have it saved. I'm going to post it later. But he was talking about how you aren't responsible for at some point when you were a child, you're not responsible for the trauma. You're not responsible for, somebody cheating on you. You're not responsible for what somebody else does to you, but you're always responsible on how you respond to that, how you take control
and your
of that.
healing.
Yeah.
You're responsible
Absolutely.
for your healing.
Yeah.
You might have not been able to control what happened to you in childhood, or if you were sexually assaulted or something like that. But what you are in control of is the healing. And it's unfortunate that I've met people in their 70s and 80s that are still holding on to these victimhood stories and are still saying, I'm this way now because of what happened to me. And it's like, well, when do we ever say enough is enough? I'm going to change. I'm going to change my experience. I'm going to change how I'm acting, and I'm no longer going to let the past create my future. Because if the past is just full of trauma and negativity, why would I want to continue to live in the present and the future? Wouldn't I say, okay, well, what do I need to do so I can have a happier, a more fulfilled future, a more fulfilled present? But so many people are comfortable in the victimhood.
Yep, absolutely.
They're comfortable.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what? When you say some people are comfortable, it reminds me of I was watching something my husband had me watching. We're always watching some type of series, messing around with him, and he literally said, a woman said, some people learn to love their chains.
They do.
They learn to love their chains. They become so comfortable with the heaviness, and they feel like that is how I'm supposed to operate in life. And the thought of removing it leaves them with so many questions of, and now what?
Who am I?
But you know what? The funny thing is with that, people love the chains because, one, having a sob story, everybody pat you on the back. Oh, I feel so sorry for you. And then two, you're never responsible for having to change. You always have an excuse of why you act that way. I fist fight and I cuss out people because this happened to me. So therefore, don't expect more of me. And if you don't expect more of me, I don't have to change. But if somebody comes and challenge you and say, you don't have to act like that, you don't have to do that, you don't have to live like that, you don't have to live in poverty. Now I'm comfortable. Now you're telling me I have to do some work. I have to change my mindset. That offends people.
It does.
I was comfortable here with the hands out and people patting me on my back and people telling me they feel so sorry.
That's just the way I am.
It's the attention that I wanted.
Right.
Yep.
But that leads me right back to what we were saying. It's a difference between having something, because you can have something because somebody gives it to you. And when you get it passed down, you don't appreciate the way that it was inherited, or the value that was put behind it, the time that was put behind it. But when you own something, you grow up. You grow up. So your question, Queen, when do we get to the point of ownership? When we grow up. When we grow up.
I love it.
Simple. Grow up.
Good.
Okay, we can go ahead and end today.
So we appreciate you all being with us. We just getting started, y'all. Okay.
So we have some questions in the chat, and they are coming in and they're commenting, and we're going to get to a few of those questions and comments in just a moment.
Okay.
Oh, look, that point that you made, Angela, was so deep, because if we think about it, a lot of times when we are unhealed and in trauma and we haven't come to that self-work and realization and self-awareness phase, we are looking externally to receive validation and love and peace. I just need you to be my peace. Baby, get your own peace. Become your own peace, honey.
Come on now.
So it's like you said, it's a difference when people are giving you and handing you.
Yes.
And a lot of people are looking to receive from others when you don't realize you have to actually do that own work to get your own, to make it for yourself. Everything that you're looking for is already within. And you're constantly disappointed because you're looking for it without.
Externally.
Yeah.
You're looking for it externally.
Yeah.
The peace, the love, fulfillment, you're waiting for others to come and make it for you. And that's why you put so much pressure on your relationships. You put so much pressure on your friendships. You put so much pressure on the job. You put so much pressure on your children. Because you're waiting for everybody to make you happy, to make you feel important, to finally love you and give you peace and fulfillment. And it will never happen. Because it's something you have to do for yourself.
Yes. And ownership is a mentality, right? When you're in ownership, it's not about that person. It's about, what do I need to do in order to move the needle? What do I need to do, number one, to accept the fact that I am in control, right, of what I do and the next step. But also what comes to mind is that, what legacy now am I planning, right? It's not about the having anymore.
Right.
I got it. That's the first step. I got it. But what do I now need to do to sustain it, to maintain it, right? That's why so many businesses, even now, I got this business, I got the LLC, I turned in my work. You see it on paper. But what is the sustaining method that you have to do to own it?
Absolutely.
Owning requires you to be, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? It requires you to be what? Ownership requires you to be, it requires you to persevere.
Yes.
Be proactive.
Oh, yes.
Be very proactive. Because when I hear her talk about ownership, and you gave the analogy of the house, I thought about owning a home versus renting.
Yes.
The expectations of, when you're a renter, if something is broken within your home, I'm going to call the landlord. I'm going to call the front office. And y'all are going to figure out all the behind the scenes and put in all the work. And I'm just going to be available for you all to come in there and fix it. Whereas ownership, that's a completely different ball game.
You got to know how to.
Right. Not only that, when we're talking about preparation, when it comes to ownership, you got to have some coins in the bank. Right? So if something breaks and it's unavailable, you need those funds available in order to fix certain things, or put other measures in place where the homeowner, where your insurance can cover it. That means, again, it takes a lot of upfront work for you to make sure that you are prepared. No longer expecting no one else to come and save you. Because guess what? If you did not pay that insurance company, if you don't have those coins saved, it stays broken. And that's scary for people. That's scary. It's easier for Tisa to come and just, hey, I know she got it's easier for me to put off my shit on her. It's Tisa's fault. I'm in this situation because she didn't love me. He didn't love me like I was supposed to. It's easier to offload.
So just like when you're renting, you can easily be put out. There's no stability.
Facts.
There's no consistency. So just like life, when you're dependent on love and peace and fulfillment from the outside, no wonder your life is an emotional roller coaster. No wonder you meet this man, you're so happy, but when he disappoints you, you're so sad. And it's not to say that emotions and processing emotions and feeling emotions is one part of a relationship and also just natural, but it's saying if your whole existence is built on people externally fulfilling you, honey, you're going to have some lows of lows and some highs of highs versus when you sustain your own self. And though things might come that disappoint you, you bounce back up. I'm going to process it, but I know that this is not the be all. This is not my God. If this relationship doesn't work out, it's not going to crush me to the point I'm ready to take my life. You know, if my children don't want to act right, it ain't going to crush me to the point I want to take my life. Because my life doesn't revolve around other people's validation, regardless of who they are. So it's like renting versus buying. When you bought your home, you're just like, I know I'm gonna be here. Well, as long as I'm able to pay that mortgage. But that's where you have the insurance, you have your job or whatever, your business. But it's like the consistency versus the emotional roller coaster of renting.
Right.
And waiting on handouts and waiting for somebody to give something to you.
I say that we continue to look outside of ourselves to fill a void within ourselves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh.
Queen Teeth.
It's just as simple as I always think about the easiest example is love, right? Because I was once here. Someone not really knowing how to love myself fully, and someone being in a relationship and that person telling me they love me and never really believing it, right? And not knowing that I was never, like I was always questioning and never being able to believe it because I didn't possess it within.
Yeah.
Like that's a
It's
real
a real thing.
A real thing.
Yeah.
And what you were saying earlier about being proactive, another thing when it comes to using the analogy of a home, right? Like what do we do when seasons change? We prep our home, right?
Yes. Yep.
We prepare our home.
And we were just talking about that too. The cluttering and the decluttering.
Yes. Very messy very, well, it can be messy. Very necessary process when we are moving through different seasons in our lives, exiting and entering relationships, jobs, whatever the case may be, taking that time out to reflect, right? To examine how we showed up.
Yeah.
What are we constantly hearing about? We talked about this too. What am I constantly hearing about myself from other people that may be true? But because I'm afraid of the shame or the embarrassment, and I'm uncomfortable with sitting in it, it stops me from really analyzing myself, reflecting on myself, owning my shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't believe, one of the things that I want to address that you just said that I believe is important is we all were there.
Yeah.
And sometimes still there in different areas of our lives, right? I believe, especially with the way the world is now, we find it hard to actually self-reflect. It's so much noise going on. Absolutely. It's so much hustle and bustle. I gotta grind, gotta keep up with the Joneses, the Instagramses, the YouTubers, the TikTokers.
Yes.
At what point do we say, hold up, let me spend some time with me? We're in the car, got on the music, fussing at the kids, on texting, right? We're only time we're quiet is when we're asleep. And we may not even be quiet then. We may be dreaming, right? We thinking about what we got to do for tomorrow. Yep. But that's a big part of being able to own your own shit is properly self-reflecting, right? Yeah. Because, one of the young women who responded on our TikTok, she talked about how she reflected. Because I asked her, I said, how are you able to let go? First, let me let you know that I celebrate your ability to let go of that relationship, right? Yeah. And I said, where did you find the strength? What was your breaking point? She said, I took time to reflect, but then I fell into a depression. And I believe a lot of people are afraid to self-reflect because they don't know how to properly do it.
I've heard that.
You know what I'm saying? It's so overwhelming, and they start to tell themselves like, man, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. I did that again. What am I? And Queen, I'm going to ask y'all. I'm coming to y'all because we're talking about identifying and inviting the seasons that you're in. And a part of being able to do that is owning your own shit.
Yep.
What are the proper ways for us to actually do that when it comes to self-reflection? Because we got to become self-aware.
Right.
We have to, right?
Right. So ownership, when you're talking about identifying the season that you're in. So with ownership is not just about I got it, right? It's about understanding that I do need help. I still need help, even at this different level. To whom much is given, much is required. Yes. So my requirement is surrounding myself around others who are doing it, who are at this level. I have now leveled up. Right? I've leveled up. So that means that my circle is going to change as I declutter. You know, my circle is going to change. My language is going to change. My palette is going to change. And so knowing that, it is a scary process sometimes, you know, to own something. If I'm getting out of a relationship, right? This was in my space for years. And now I no longer have it. I believe the thing about the village, right? The village concept is that I have my brothers and sisters that can take me, that can carry me, that can offer that support even while I'm owning, even in that phase. So that's when I'm thinking about that, Queen Vaughn, I'm thinking about even my own, right? My own elevation and my own level up, that at this time, Angie, it's not about what you know, it's about also who you know. Right? Yes. It's about me asking. Ask questions to get clarity. There's certain things that you have to do in order to maintain your ownership. If you don't renew something, that thing is gone, or there are consequences, right? So that's what I'm thinking about.
I love it. I love it. It's real quick, and let's keep this going around because I can't wait for y'all to answer this part. So one thing that I believe that you said that was extremely pivotal is village, right?
Yes.
Not only village, but proper resources.
In your village.
Yes. If I know you don't bake, I'm not coming to your house for sugar. I ain't asking you for sugar. And I believe what we tend to do sometimes when, you know, if we do want to take that step forward, we having the right conversation
with the wrong people. Come on,
I'm just saying.
Know who's in your village. Know who's in your village.
And I tell people all the time, in my relationship, my marriage, I'm not talking to you. Can't keep a man. Why am I talking to you?
You can't keep a job.
Why am I asking you about investment opportunities and you broke? Okay. All right. I just had to
look, better yet, because a lot of times we don't even ask people for advice.
Come on.
Better yet, they just tell us. So it's like,
we accept it. And we accept it.
Like, hey, close your lips. Baby, close your lips. You don't know nothing about money. You don't know nothing about functional relationships. You don't know nothing. Close your lips. Love you. Have a great day.
It's that need to be heard that you right and that need to be validated, right? A lot of times the first thing we do when we get mad at our man, I mean, I'm not talking about those that have evolved, right? But we've all been there, right? Pick up the phone, you know, you had an argument with your man and you call your girlfriend, the girlfriend that you know gonna be like, girl, it's him. Right.
Yeah, amen, corner.
You know what I mean?
Instead of she be like, no, sis, you was wrong.
Yes.
Right? You know, you don't want that. You call the person who you know is going to go along with it.
Exactly.
And that goes to how you level up. How you level up in your ownership. Like, I can't have that girlfriend that's just like, it's him. I need a little bit more.
Come on,
because this thing keeps happening over and over and over again. So I need a different language. Like, tell me something different. Is it me? No, girl, it's not you. It's him. No, something has to keep happening. No, this is happening too much.
Absolutely.
Speaking of over and over again.
So let's get back to the
right. So I'm coming. So the question of reflection, right?
Yes.
Of how because a part of this, we're talking about owning your ish, right? So a part of owning your ish is the ability to self-reflect properly.
Yes. So with that, and Angela said over and over. So my personal experience last year, patterns, catching your patterns.
Come on now.
We think we so complicated, we so complex, we so different. If you look at it, you eat probably the same 7 meals over and over. You wear the same favorite outfits over and over. You do the same thing. We're creatures of a habit. So when you start catching your patterns in relationships, when you can look at all of your relationships and see that they ended the same way with the same drama, you can look at all of the jobs and see that you always have drama at these jobs, and it's this type of drama. When you can look at your friendships and say, this is the problem in all of my friendships, you really have to sit down, sometimes even write this stuff out.
That's it.
Write all of the relationships out, write how the person was, because a lot of times we'll say they was just like the other people. No, baby, it's you. You the common denominator in all of that. So when you start catching your patterns, then you can start looking at the beliefs behind those patterns that is causing you to experience the same thing over and over and over. I know people right now that they will keep a job for 6 to 8 months and they will have the same complaint. The people didn't like me there. The people set me up. The people blah, blah. And I'm like, every job? Like, girl, this is your 5th job in about 5 years and you have the same complaints. Or a relationship. Oh, this person cheated on me in every relationship. Like,
it's always.
So when you start seeing these patterns of how you act and how you talk and the end results of these situations, you can start saying, okay, well, what is it within me that is causing for me to experience this pattern in life? Let me check myself, and does it serve me? Does it not serve me? If it doesn't serve me, let's start deconstructing that belief and reinforcing a new belief so I can have a different experience. Because doing the same thing over again and expecting different results
is what they say.
It's not going to help you. But you have to start with the me. It's I. It's me. It's not that person. It's not every person I get with cheats on me. It's me. I choose people who cheat. Choose a different experience.
That's gonna have to be a whole nother episode. Woo! That's gonna be. Go ahead, Queen C. So what you got?
That was my my wake up call. A relationship ending, and I was like, something has got to change because these patterns, right? I'm always quitting. I'm always unhappy at jobs. I'm always in similar situations with men, and I generally don't feel happy, right? That was my life-changing moment after that relationship. Thank God he left, because it changed my life. But I didn't have the language then, right? So I know for me, I deliberately bought a lot of self-help books, a lot of them, and I read a ton of them. Some of my favorites, Codependent No More, the book Boundaries, Joyce Meyer's, what is that book about emotions? I can't think of it now. But self-help books was big for me. And then when I was able to really see myself in the stories that I was reading, and therapy helped a lot. My therapist tells me I'm too self-aware. I was like, that's a thing. But that absolutely is a thing. But therapy helped a lot, and writing, writing out what I was learning in therapy about myself. That's how I reviewed the experiences I was having in the self-help books.
I love it. So I heard a couple of things, right? As we're talking about owning your own ish, right? One of the things that we said, becoming self-aware, but I keep hearing the common theme of you don't got to do it by yourself. You don't have to do it by, as a matter of fact, don't do it by yourself. It's not even that you have, because it's your perspective. Your perspective is skewed. You can only drive a direction based on your knowledge. But obviously you keep running into roadblocks, traffic. How about you talk to somebody else who knows some other direction for you to take?
And all of us have blinders. I don't care how evolved you are, how self-aware you are, we all have blinders.
One of the things that I tell my members that want to continue their journey in healing, and speaking about ownership, is I tell them, I say, I am the passenger in your car. I am not going to drive your car. Because one thing is that we are comfortable driving. We are comfortable getting in, and knowing where we're going, because we're creatures of habit. If I know where I'm going, then I know this. Well, some of us got heavy feet, right? I know what speed I'm going.
Places in 25 minutes.
That's 45 minutes.
An hour 15 away. We not calling. Okay.
I'm not calling no names. Queen Tisa. But what I was saying is that, you know, being a passenger in someone's car, you have a different view.
Yeah.
You have a different lens. And, you know, sometimes, as for me, I can see your patterns. Yeah. I can see that this will not be a good road to turn down, because in our conversations, you've gone down this road before, right? You can't see somebody on the side saying, hey, stop. You don't want to go down this road, because you have blinders on. You have a one tunnel vision. You have one-way vision. And so that's the importance of don't do this journey by yourself, because we weren't created to do life alone.
No,
we
man.
were not. We were not.
We have a couple of comments over here. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. We have patience to work on you, especially once you recognize your shortcomings. I love it. Then start working on the best you. Accountability. Yes. We also have ownership means to be responsible.
Yes.
I love it. Y'all talking good over there, they saying. All right. Thank y'all so much for hanging with us.
Yes.
And you know what? One thing with Tisa. So yes, it's like you never get to, it's no destination to reach with enlightenment and self-awareness and just knowing. But it's levels.
It's levels to this thing.
It's
levels to this thing.
Cycles.
And when you stop, you're dead. Like that's when it stops.
Absolutely.
But it's like we're so busy trying to think that we need to get to a certain mark instead of just being. Start the work and start being. And it's like with me, I'm almost like an onion. Like I'm continuously peeling back layers. And I've told y'all before, every layer stank.
Yeah.
But it's highly nutritious.
Yeah.
And it tastes great when it's caramelized and delicious. I'm rapping.
Come on, you
rapping.
on, the bars.
Credit.
So, but it's like every level I go, I'm unveiling a different level of me and the most authentic version of me. Yeah. And it's like the self-acceptance that I have along the journey allows me to love even the shit that I see coming up.
Yeah.
It allows me to really practice unconditional love with myself. And unconditional love is not saying I'm gonna just sit in it, this is me, but it's saying I see that that's me and I still love me regardless, even if I have to evolve to a different level.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna love everything.
Because
My experiences, how I act, all of that, it's me. This is what I have. So I am allowed to be more refined and more evolved. However, I'm gonna love every bit of me in the process of me learning and unveiling who I truly am.
Absolutely.
You brought up a good point. Part of loving yourself through your healing journey for exactly as you are, self-compassion and grace are so necessary in healing, owning your shit, loving yourself. It's so necessary.
Yes. You got to stop judging yourself. We're so hard on ourselves. And a lot of times that hardness we project onto other people, but it's really us that we're judging. When you really start to love yourself and be compassionate and more, peaceful and accepting of yourself, you radiate that out.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And you start to understand other people's journey, and you're not pointing fingers and stuff. So it's a must. Like I love me some of me.
I know that. Who else can do you better?
Right.
Than you. So you might as well just go ahead and be that.
And one thing I've realized is I am the love of my life.
Yeah.
I thought, when you were a teenager and stuff, I can't wait to find the love of my life. Baby, I'm here.
Yep.
I've always been with you. But you just had to, take some scales off your eyes to realize I'm here. So it's like, I love me some of me. And because I love me some of me, now I'm able to love other people more authentically. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's just
getting more intimate with yourself so that you can share your authentic self with others. Because like you said, if we continue to kind of just show up as these I'm attempting to be nice, y'all. I'm attempting to be nice. Let me reword that. let me just go ahead and be nice. They were like, we ain't about to learn no more. We're continuing to wear these masks, right? if you have on a mask and you want to connect with others, they're connecting with your mask.
Exactly.
Yes.
They're connecting not with you, but who you appear to be.
Yes.
And that's why relationships don't work out, right? So if this is happening externally with others, if you're keeping on the mask, how in the world are you going to even become intimate with yourself?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? One of the things that in coaching, y'all know that fly things means so much to me. First, loving yourself is pivotal. And that was a lesson that I had learned, right? You know, full transparency, when I was going through my ugly divorce, I had 3 beautiful daughters from that marriage. I had to sit back and self-reflect and own my shit. Why was it even acceptable to be in a relationship like that?
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't know who you are. Obviously, you can't blame this all on him. And that's why I was able to really heal, because I did own my own shit and say, Vaughn, let's go back to the root of it. Oh, okay, you attempted to make this work because of your past and how you grew up.
Yeah.
Your mom had 4 children from 4 different guys. So once you got pregnant by the first one, you was like, I'm going to make this work because I don't want to repeat that pattern.
Yeah.
So patterns, right?
Right.
Pattern. I have to own my own shit.
Yes.
So when I was going through the process and I was attempting to figure out what is the quickest way to recovery, what is the quickest way to healing. So as I was going through that process, the first was self-awareness. Okay, sit down and be intentional about the way you are reflecting. You are reflecting not to beat yourself up, but so you don't make those same mistakes again. So you can see where you can improve and who you need to call on from your village to get the help that you desire. The second stage of being fly is self-forgiveness. I had to forgive myself. My bad, you messed up. Let's keep it moving, because otherwise you're going to remain a victim and you're going to keep blaming all of those people around you. You know what? Forgive yourself. The third one was self-correction, y'all. Self-correction. That's a part of owning your own shit, right? Because some people be like, well, I know I got bad attitude and
Sit in it.
wait a minute, no. Let's make some corrections. And when you're doing self-correction, we're talking about limiting your access, people access to you, your heart, your mind, your spirit, your soul, and creating boundaries. Right? You also got to create some boundaries. And some of those boundaries is not just with other people, it's even with yourself.
Yes.
Boundaries are all around us to protect us. Where there is not a boundary, there is chaos. Right?
Yes.
The fourth one is that self-love. But it's self-love to the extent of self-development. It's not just about self-care. It's not hair done, nails done, everything done. I love myself. I got self-love. Boo. It's more than a massage. It's, okay, where are my shortcomings and who do I need to connect with? What do I need to do to better myself? And that is getting a therapist. That is getting a mentor. That is getting accountability, and a life coach, a personal trainer, a finance coach, right? That's self-love. All of those things are necessary. And then the fifth one within the cycle, and we talked about it, not it being a destination, but a journey. It is self-commitment. Saying that I'm going to honor myself. I'm going to honor my commitment to myself. And every single day, I'm going to do this all over again. It don't stop. It don't stop.
No, it does not.
You go right back to the top. How can I, self-awareness, right? You go right back in that cycle.
That's good.
Let the church say amen.
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 So you hit a point of forgiveness. And I love the self-love and the compassion and the forgiveness, because we have to realize we have to start being hard on ourselves, because you were doing the best you could with the knowledge that you had at the time. And also a lot of the habits and a lot of the ways that we have about us, we're simply just trying to protect ourselves on a subconscious level. So even if you push people away, a part of you, usually during childhood, had to gain that in order to protect yourself. So you get to a certain point in your journey where you say, does this serve me or does this no longer serve me?
Right.
And if it no longer serves me, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for protecting me as best as you could. But I no longer need you at this point. So I release you. I release pushing away people. I release sabotaging. I release stirring up drama. I release isolating myself. I release being hard on myself.
Yeah.
I release it because I don't need it anymore. And I'm ready for a new experience.
Yeah.
So it's the part of being compassionate with yourself. Even the little nasty things you find, you might be stingy. Okay?
Yeah.
You're trying to protect yourself in some type of way. Don't be so hard. Just realize it doesn't serve me. Let's create something new.
Yeah.
It's literally that's what I meant when I said, that's a great example of when I said all things serve us, right? It's literally like having a toolbox.
Yeah.
And for these amount of years, I've used this tool to navigate through life, right? And just realizing like, oh, okay, well, it served me thus far. It's now time to put this down and pick up a hammer, right? Or a different tool.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to give you a personal example. So growing up, I was like, well, people tried to bully me. Let's just say that.
I think that's every.
It's like I did not fit in. I did not fit in at school. I did not fit in with the family.
Yes.
People thought I was weird. People thought I was doing too much. So I got to a point in my childhood where I isolated myself and I didn't trust people. And I felt like it's best to just be by myself because this is cool. And it worked for me for a while. It shielded me from the hurt of people rejecting me and people not accepting me. But now I'm at a point where it's like, I want to be able to relate to people. I want to have abundant friendships and associations. I want to be able to go out in front of people and speak. But I have this issue. I've been isolating so long, I don't even know how to relate to other people. I don't even know how to trust other people. So now I have to say, look, isolation. You protected me when I was a child and I was too fragile and too young to understand. And I couldn't take all of that pressure. I would have took my life had I not learned to isolate myself. But now, since I'm an adult and I'm more confident and I love me, I'm ready to come out. So isolation, I could put you in the suitcase and pack you up. Thank you so much. You've done me well. And now it's time for me. Look, I'm coming out. I want the world to see.
Yes. Another metaphor that's being downloaded right now is going from puberty to adulthood stage. You know, when you go through that puberty stage, things are awkward. Your body is changing, your skin is changing, you know, but when you get to like that adulthood and you start getting comfortable with who you are and you start understanding this is the process that life is going to take me to regardless whether I want it or not. It is inevitable. You know, change is inevitable, but growth is optional. Okay?
Yes.
My daddy says that all the time.
Come on, daddy.
All the time. So you have, again, goes back to that choice. You have a choice. When life is calling you, different seasons of our life, identifying the season that you're in. You know, our followers, one of the things that may help is that every season, when the seasons change, you actually call yourself to change. Look at the assessment. That's an assessment point. Every 3 to 4 months, assess yourself when the seasons are changing. There's four seasons.
That's good.
And if we associate ourselves with what life is already doing for us, no matter if we want to ignore it or not, it's changing. And so take that ownership for yourself, that self-correction, right? And evaluate again, just like you were talking about, Queen Vaughn, utilize that same mindset of that I'm constantly changing as the seasons change. And I'm constantly reevaluating. Am I in the puberty stage? Or am I getting myself to that level up stage where I am now owning my shit?
Come on.
So I love the optional growth because a lot of us, we have to use pain as a catalyst to change. A lot of us will have to be dragged down, stumped out, ATL style, before we actually decide that we have to change. But it's like if we actually took an assessment of our life when everything was good and comfortable and say, okay, this is it's time to grow. It's time to change in these areas. Instead of waiting for the thing to be beaten dead. It's like life could be so much valuable. Life doesn't have to be pain. all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's gonna come, but hey, it doesn't have to for you to change. If you look at your life and you say the most crazy moments in my life is when I was just down in the mud, then maybe you need to start evaluating maybe on a weekly basis.
right. You know,
What is going on? And that's why I have so much respect for people who are able to transition from jobs and relationships and associations when it might be going good, it might be decent, but they just know, hey, my time is up here. Thank you. We're no longer in alignment.
Yeah.
Instead of having to wait till the job is doing you dirty and not appreciate you, the relationship, y'all beating on each other and whatever else. It's like, why we have to wait to get to that point, baby?
Right, yeah.
The signs were 6 months back that it was time to go. But now, God, universe had to push you, pretty much make it hot and tight for you to change. Because without the hurt and the pain, you refuse to change. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's back to preparation, right? I like the idea of, using something that is naturally already into play as an alarm, right? Yeah. And that's why we keep talking about identifying and inviting the seasons that you're in. Yeah. I'm a very visual person. So when you all are saying certain things, it reminds me of real world scenarios where if the weather is telling us it's about to be a real bad snowstorm, everybody's running to the store to get grocery, to get toilet. Why in the hell you getting toilet paper? How much you gonna poop and pee? Like doing a store. I got clothes. I got wash clothes. Like, why is it bread? Milk. If the lights go, I don't get it. Okay, all right, that's on another part, right? But my thing is, why are you not already prepared? Yeah. Certain things should be stored up. And if it has already happened several times in your life before, you already know, let me just stay prepared. So what we've started doing, I get it. I don't have a lot of place to store it and things like that. Look, if you get down to 4 rolls of tissue, go to the store and get some more. Don't wait until you on your last sheet and be like, shit. Literally, right? Right? So that's the same thing when it comes to identifying because of patterns. We know this is happening. And now let me just go with it. Let me invite this process in.
Let me surrender.
You don't change. Why would you start pulling out your winter clothes? Why would you start pulling out your summer clothes when we know it's about to be winter season? Why not put them away? You are prepared. Go to the store. Know these things are already happening. These things are happening continuously in our lives. Why aren't we doing a better job of just inviting it, prepare for it, so you can just embrace it? I don't get it.
I'm itching.
I'm itching.
Go.
Because what the weather is doing now, the winter and the cold season seem like spring and summer. So what happens when there's a mix-up? How do we go with the mix-up?
We still ain't putting on no shorts right now. We not pulling out no flip-flops. I get it, it's 70 degrees out there, because here's what's going to happen. If you get fooled by the couple of days of nice weather, you're going to end up sick.
True.
And that's for real in your life.
In your life.
That's for real in your life.
I had to bring out that point because there's people. Right. Because as human beings,
we ain't gonna wear no jackets. We putting out their shorts.
We will be quick to go with what is in front of us without not thinking about the long-term effect, right? Yes. Like, this is not normal. Right? For
unseasonably warm.
Right. This is not warm. This is not normal. So what is it that I have to do to not be influenced so easily? Right? Influenced so
I'm sorry I'm moaning on here. This is good.
It is. It's because it's true, right?
It is true.
But I'm thinking,
that analogy,
as y'all were speaking, learning to trust your intuition. Learning to trust the inner voice. A lot of time we're so busy looking for outside guidance, and that is great with the mentorships and the therapists and stuff, but you really have to get to a level of trusting your intuition, trusting what you're hearing. and moving on that, being obedient to that. You know, we always talk about being obedient to the word of God and being obedient to God. God and you are one.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm going to say for me personally, the biggest shift I've had is learning to trust that voice.
Yeah.
And don't matter what's going on around me.
Yeah.
When that voice say, go here, do that, move, I do it. Yeah. And it has always worked out well. When I don't do it, then I'm like, oh, I should have did it.
I should have did it.
But it took me getting that confidence to get there, because we're so used to people telling us to do it. We're so used to our parents, the job, the government, everybody telling us, hey, do it this way. This is how you should live your life. Get the good job, sit in it, get married. As long as y'all ain't too crazy, stay in it. Go, don't do that, don't do this. And it's like, we don't even know our direction. So that getting alone and reflecting, that's part of the process.
Absolutely. Yeah, we gotta wrap it on up, y'all. We will be here forever and ever. I know, right? Well, this is Xcapade to Xpansion.
Yes.
We hope that you all have enjoyed the journey, the escapade.
Yes.
We hope we have challenged you all to expand. Make sure you are connected with us on all of our social medias, and be on the lookout for episode 2. If you all love this, please comment, share, subscribe, like all that good stuff. And please submit any type of questions or topics that you would like for us to help you expand on.
Yes.
Can we go ahead and close out? Who do we have?
That's you, Jessica.
Angela, go ahead. See, yeah, we got to rehearse that, y'all. This is our first one, right? We go in order. We just gonna always go look. It's always Angela. Come on.
We got it. So, one of the takeaways for me today is just really understanding that for us, this journey that we're taking, we will not do this alone, okay? And the second thing is that part of our mission as Xcapade to Expansion, I believe that it was definitely said here today, maybe a couple of times, is our goal is to help you within your self-discovery. Queen Jessica talked about peeling back the layers of yourself. That is part of self-discovery. And so that's my second takeaway from today, is that this journey is about true self-discovery.
I love it. For me, I love the whole ownership discussion, accountability, deciding to become vulnerable, right? And realize we're not here to point out shit about you just because. It's because we want to see you do better. We want to see you win. We want to see you happy. We want to see you first loving yourself and being good with just yourself. So that whole ownership piece, y'all, take some time to self-reflect. I'll leave you with this one last piece. I got to give credit to my king. He talks about intentionality, and I know that's your word, right?
I was just about to say something about it.
My bad. I don't mean to take it. But it's so powerful. He said, in order to really see a change, one, you have to have a desire plus self-awareness equals intentionality. So though you may have the desire to own your own shit, right? You have to be willing to do that work. And that's that self-awareness piece. And then that intentionality, it's all going to come together for you.
I'm going to echo that a little bit and say, be intentional about quieting the outside and sitting with yourself, and staying curious. Just stay curious about yourself. Be intentional about that.
And I'm going to end on saying, you can have the life that you want. I don't care where you're starting at. I've seen people do a total 180, including myself. So I want you to be encouraged that what you want and the thoughts and the ideals that you have bubbling in you, they're attainable. But you just got to choose to do the work. You got to choose you finally. And that's it.
We are Xcapade to Expansion.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Xcapade to Expansion podcast. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe.